when he look in the mirror, that's the biggest enemy right there. If he could get that guy disciplined, then he gonna be a hard guy to figure out. But can you hit the bell, Professor, then, so we can move on to the next round? And we're gonna take, bless you, we're gonna take some call-ins too, bless you. We're gonna take some call-ins, so stay tuned. But
yeah, I want to give a because they said I've been missing them. So Auto Chris, shout out, he been rocking. He says Cruz is a duck champ.
I mean, he ducked rigging Diaz for years, so I know where you coming from, AkHi. We on the same page, but you already know Gervonta is gonna pay him for all that ducking he been doing. But to each your own. Sometimes it is business, but it is what it is. So I received a lot of backlash last show because I compared Shakur to Floyd, and I said that he's gonna be the next coming of Floyd. And people were like, "Man, you reaching." You know, Shakur is a good talent, but Floyd Mayweather was special. And I pretty much know how good Floyd is. People already know. All my AkHis know. I pay homage, especially when it comes to the past greats. But all I was saying is this. Like, one thing about Floyd Mayweather, when all the stars and the moons collide, that's when a fighter like Mayweather is born. And that has to repeat for a fighter to end up having a record of 50-0 and have a career like Floyd, like the highest pay-per-view seller and all the above. We know all of his accomplishments. That's not an easy thing to do because we had the talent, but we didn't have the record. What I mean by that, we had Roy Jones, we had the Muhammad Ali, we had the, Mike Tyson and all them greats, but either the double standards in the sport was just too much to overcome, like when Ali went to Vietnam, was so on and so forth, or, just wrong business decisions like Roy Jones when he moved down in weight from heavyweight. However, Floyd Mayweather, he basically painted a perfect picture of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like no one could do it better. So as far as how his career gonna go, that's on Shakur to write his destiny. That's not on me. You gotta have the discipline of Floyd, and you also gotta have the opponents, which Shakur has, because Gervonta is around, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, around his weight class. Yeah, so he could fight those guys in the near future. But the key word is the future, pound for pound number one. I said that before he even turned pro. Now people say, oh, well, that's still reaching. Well, I said the same thing about Floyd Mayweather. I said the same thing about Terrence Crawford. When I first laid my eyes on Terrence Crawford when he fought Post-Op, I was like, that's going to be the next pound for pound number one. I said the same thing about Errol Spence. So I'm just saying, I'm not overpraising Shakur or think he, I got a little favoritism toward him because I like Lopez too. But what I'm saying, even Floyd Mayweather said it. When Floyd Mayweather went to the Olympics, he said records are made to be broken, and Shakur was right next to him, and he told the public, I think he could beat my record. I think he could surpass me. Now, people want to say, oh, he was just saying that to sign him. Nah, Floyd Mayweather wouldn't fly all the way over there just to say that. People say Floyd Mayweather is cocky. He not humble. He don't show no love to other fighters. Well, he just did it. And you best believe he not capping because he's seeing things that a lot of fighters don't have, which is discipline, which is patient. I'm talking about in and out of the ring, even in the ring. He's so patient in there. You think he rigging Diaz when he was like 18 years old in the Olympics. So people have to be mindful that even though he didn't get a gold, in my opinion, he should have got a gold, but it is what it is. Floyd Mayweather should have got a gold too. It made him a better fighter. And I think with Shakur, that will apply to him as well. Now, what's your take on that? You think it's too far to compare Shakur and Floyd? I mean, because I know you said Shakur, he the next Shakur, and I know that because I'm not comparing them stylistically. Because, of course, he a southpaw and the other guy's orthodox, but I'm talking about their potential, Shakur potential in the future.
Yeah, so I think that when you speak about Floyd, it's the execution, right? So it's the career. So there have been plenty of people who've had the talent. I wouldn't say more talent, but at least people who've had the pedigree, who had the talent, who had the mental capacity. But he had a career that he was able to map out that makes Floyd Floyd, right? So he beat countless. I think he has a record for former champions that he's beat. He went through the ranks. He was pound for pound number one. While he did it, he was a cash cow at some point. You know, he went through different roles. He was the pretty boy, then went to Money Mayweather. So he mapped out just a beautiful career. And it was funny because he actually, when he really started making his money, was when he turned the villain and was Money. But probably his, except for maybe Ortiz, some of his most beautiful performances was these pretty boy performances. If y'all haven't seen it before, it was funny. I don't want to go off topic, but I have a younger brother. It's about 10 years younger than me. And I was showing him some tape about Floyd, and I would just kind of give him, and then so I showed him when he fought Gotti, and then he was just like, he's like, man, this like Floyd, he doesn't even fight like that. Because this guy was just on the front foot and was just vicious. I actually think 140 was his best weight. We didn't get a chance to see him there. But with that said, Floyd had the ability to fight several different styles. He was, to me, the brightest person. Him and probably Ali, the brightest people that has ever stepped in that ring. And so with Shakur, that's a lot. A lot of people think of Floyd as the best ever. So if you're comparing him, then you're saying this guy can be the best ever. Well, I think that's hard to live up to, which is why I say just let him be the first Shakur Stevenson and then have people kind of emulate.
Yeah,
did.
That's a great point. But I'm just saying the guy today, from all the fighters that I see, that has the highest potential to be a Mayweather is Shakur. And Otto Chris, appreciate the super chat. It's not impossible for someone to become better than Floyd, not disrespecting the GOAT. Is capital G, capital O, capital A, capital T, because you're talking about Mayweather. That's what Mayweather said on his last interview. It was a great interview. But he kind of said that. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to live up to Floyd. I don't care who you is. I'm not saying Shakur could do it. I'm just saying if I'm going to point out a fighter that has the potential to be that, or at least get as close to Floyd Mayweather, from all the fighters that I see today, champions or non-champions, I think Shakur is the one. And I stick by that. But at the end of the day, it ain't an easy thing to do. Because Floyd Mayweather, like Professor Nim said, is the it factor. Like, he had all of the above, but he also had the it factor, which, he kind of basically became a villain. I think it was 2008 or 2009, or maybe 2007 when he flipped on Oscar De La Hoya, brought a chicken and all that. That's when he took over, because he realized when he saw Prince Nassim Hamed, which is one of my favorite fighters that got me into the sport, he realized, man, this dude, outside of the ring, he humble, cool as hell. But when I see him on camera, I hate the ish out of him. Like, you'll get that type of feeling because he's so cocky, right? But it ain't cocky if you could back it up. So Floyd realized, if I'm the damn best and no one could really beat me, because he really felt that way, then I'm going to go ahead and talk my ish. And he sure backed it up to the end of time. So I think Shakur could walk in that shoe, because unlike Gervonta, he had the circle around him that's going to keep him disciplined, which is Prince, Andre Ward, and Terrence Crawford. We talking about Andre Ward, the past pound-for-pound number one, former pound-for-pound number one, Terrence Crawford, current pound-for-pound number one, Shakur, future pound-for-pound number one. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I understand where people coming from. So, can you any last thoughts?
Yeah, one last thing. So, we want to talk about how Floyd is this kind of perfect mesh of everything that you need. So you have to realize his father was a high-level person that fought a really good fight against Sugar Ray Leonard. So if you watch any of his fights, there's a lot of Floyd styles in there. But then also his uncle, rest in peace, Roger Mayweather, who was a sniper with that right hand and was an offensive fighter. So you have both of that, and you had gloves on since you're 2 years old. It was just kind of almost written for this guy to be that special.
To be in that position.
Yeah.
And the next round is actually about Mayweather himself. There's news that he's canceling his plan to come back in 2020, right after Roger Mayweather death. May he rest in peace, inshallah. Now, Roger Mayweather, he the trainer, but he was also two-time world champion. Yeah. He fought Sweet Pea Whitaker R.I.P. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And he also faced Chavez
Sr.
twice, you know. So, you know, kind of Roger Mayweather, which you were touching on. Roger, he was more of an offensive fighter. He had the offensive mind. And Floyd Mayweather Sr. had the more defensive mindset and the Philly shell, yeah. And Floyd Mayweather took both of both best world and put it together like puzzle, and he just had the full package. I don't know any fighter that could fight in the inside, at mid-range, and outside, and switch from offense to defense better than Floyd. I just don't. Like, I'm talking about all the three. And Mayweather just, you know, you could tell he was well schooled, and it was thanks to Roger, may he rest in peace, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. that taught him and made him the full package. So when he's canceling the plan of coming back to whatever, UFC or boxing, I mean, that's good news, because one thing I talked about when I reported on Roger Mayweather passing away, may he rest in peace, is that your health is your wealth, and tomorrow is not promised. So when you wake up the next day, you should be thanking God every day for waking up another day and seeing another blessing. So Mayweather, he has everything a man could ask for. I'm talking about from having a perfect record, from having all the money in the world. You know what I mean? So why would you risk it every time? I mean, you already did it for like 40 years, man. So might well just retire with your well-being, because Mayweather, I'm pretty sure he got hit in sparring more so than he got hit during the fights.
Yeah.
You know, he hardly got hit during the fight. I mean, Marquez hit him like 2-3 times the whole night. So Mayweather, the thing about him, I mean, even when Roger Mayweather was training him, he would tell him, keep doing that shit right there. Keep doing that shit right there. Whatever, like every round, like I'll be like, man, let me see what Roger's about to tell him.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. So it's because they already had a game plan. But what I'm saying is, Floyd is so good that he just like, that's just extra to him. To the point he reached, he was really his own trainer. And